All right, let's dive into one of Shakespeare's most complicated and honestly most controversial plays, The Merchant of Venice. Now, this is a story all about love, sure, but it's also about deep-seated prejudice and a debt. A debt that comes with a truly gruesome price tag.
And right at the very heart of it all is this one single, chilling line from the moneylender Shylock. "I will have my bond." It's not a request, it's a promise. A promise of revenge that's going to push this whole story right to the edge.
So, that brings us to the big question, right? What is the price of a pound of flesh? I mean, we're not just talking about money here. We're talking about justice, about mercy, about what one person owes another. And believe me, that question, it hangs over every single scene of this play.
Okay, so let's set the scene. We're in Venice. It's this bustling, vibrant center of trade. But, just beneath all that energy and commerce, a simple, desperate need for cash is about to spring a deadly trap. A trap forged between two men who absolutely despise each other.
So really, this whole thing boils down to three key people. First, you've got Bassiano. He's our young nobleman, head over heels in love, but completely broke. Then there's his best friend, Antonio, a rich merchant who would do literally anything for Bassiano. And finally, Shylock. He's a Jewish moneylender, and he's been publicly, repeatedly insulted by Antonio. This isn't just a business rivalry, it's personal. And that little detail, it's going to be absolutely crucial.
And here's what kicks the whole thing off. Bassanio, our romantic lead, is desperate to win the hand of the incredibly wealthy and intelligent Portia. The problem is, to even show up and compete with her other suitors, he needs cash, lots of it, and he has none. And we're talking a very specific number. He needs 3,000 ducats, and he needs it for 3 months. I mean, this is a serious amount of money, but he's banking on it to win him a wife and a whole lot of fortune besides.
So, of course, Bassanio goes to his rich friend Antonio. But here's the snag. Antonio's money is all tied up. It's all invested in his fleet of ships out at sea. He is what you'd call asset-rich but cash-poor. So he makes a huge, fateful call. He'll put his own name and reputation on the line to get a loan from the one person in Venice who has that kind of cash, his bitter rival, Shylock.
So Shylock agrees, but he says, you know what? No interest. Instead, he proposes this merry bond, he calls it. A little game. If Antonio can't pay back the loan in time, the penalty isn't money. Oh no. The penalty is a pound of Antonio's own flesh to be cut from wherever Shylock pleases. Now Bassanio's horrified, but Antonio? He's so sure his ships will come in, he just laughs it off and agrees. Big mistake.
Now, while this insane deal is going down in Venice, there are a couple of other things happening in the background. Two subplots that are about to make everything way, way more complicated.
So over in the town of Belmont, Portia isn't exactly in control of her own love life. Her dad, in his will, set up this bizarre challenge. Suitors have to choose between 3 caskets, 1 gold, 1 silver, and 1 lead. If you pick the right one, you get to marry Portia. But if you choose wrong, you have to swear you'll never marry anyone ever. It's basically a high-stakes lottery for love.
And at the very same time, back in Venice, Shylock gets hit with this absolutely devastating personal blow. His only daughter, Jessica, elopes, and not just with anyone, with a Christian. And to make it worse, she robs him blind on her way out, taking a huge amount of his money and jewels. I mean, for Shylock, this is the ultimate betrayal.
And this line, this is what people on the street report hearing him scream. "My daughter, oh my ducats." Did you catch that? He's crying out for his daughter and his money in the same breath. They're all mixed up in his mind. This isn't just grief, it's rage. And it completely hardens his heart, fueling this burning desire for revenge on the people he blames for taking everything.
Okay, so this is where all those separate threads, Bassanio's love quest, Jessica running away, that crazy bond, this is where they all start to weave together into a perfect storm.
And then, disaster strikes. The rumors are true. Every single one of Antonio's ships has been wrecked at sea. He's lost everything, he's bankrupt, and he absolutely cannot repay the loan. That merry bond? Well, the payment is officially due.
Now Shylock, who is reeling from his daughter's betrayal and, let's be honest, years of abuse from Antonio, sees his chance, and he delivers one of the most famous, powerful speeches in all of Shakespeare. He basically asks, "Aren't we all human? If you hurt us, don't we seek revenge?" He's done with mercy. He's going to use the law to get what he feels he's owed. He wants that pound of flesh.
And all of this leads to the massive climax of the play. We're in a Venetian courtroom. Antonio's life is literally on the line. And really, the ideas of justice and mercy themselves are about to be put on trial.
Bassanio, who actually succeeded and is now married to Portia, rushes back. He offers Shylock twice the money, 3 times the money. He doesn't care. But Shylock won't budge. It was never about the money. He literally stands there in the courtroom, sharpening his knife, ready to collect his payment. It is intense. Just when it looks like it's all over for Antonio, this young, brilliant lawyer named Balthazar shows up to judge the case. And here's the twist. Nobody knows it, but Balthazar is actually Portia, in disguise, here to save her husband's best friend.
So here's her genius move. She starts with this incredible speech about the quality of mercy, but it doesn't work on Shylock. So she says, okay, you're right, the law is the law. You can have your pound of flesh. But she points out that the bond says flesh, and only flesh. It says nothing about blood. So go ahead, take your pound of flesh, but you can't spill one single drop of blood while you do it. Check.
And boom, the tables are turned, just like that. The trap that Shylock laid for Antonio, he's the one caught in it now. And Portia's not done. She brings up another law, one that says if a non-citizen tries to take the life of a citizen, all their stuff is confiscated and their own life is at risk. So suddenly, Shylock isn't the one demanding justice, he's the one facing the death penalty.
So the trial's over, Antonio is safe, and the play moves back to Belmont for what should be a happy ending. But is it really? The way things wrap up is anything but simple, and it leaves you with some pretty big questions.
So let's look at the final scorecard. Antonio? He gets his life back, and what do you know? Some of his ships magically reappear. Bassanio and Portia, they get their happily ever after. But Shylock, he's completely and utterly destroyed. He gets to live, but only if he gives up all his money and converts to Christianity. It's a happy ending, I guess, but it's one that's built on the total ruin of another person.
And that's where we're left. See, technically, the play ends with marriages and celebration, which usually means it's a comedy. But can you really call it a comedy after what happened to Shylock? It makes you wonder, what even is justice? And is mercy something we only give to people who are just like us? And that complexity, that unresolved tension, that's exactly why we're still talking about and arguing about this play centuries later.